It's my privilege to introduce Dr. Brian Croser. Thank you.
Only an Englishman would or could wear a tie like that. Minister, member, I think departed, thank you to the very energetic and youthful McLaren Vale Wineshow organising committee, led by the irrepressible Corinna Raymond, for asking me to chair the show. It's been a pleasure and a privilege. There are ghosts here for me. I am sure the scariest man I've ever worked for, Bob Hagley, manager of Hardy's Tintara winery from the 50s to the 70s, still stalks the cask halls down there. I'm too scared to go and take a look. In 1974, my old mentor, Len Evans, got bored with one of the preceding events, bushing festivals, being held at the McLaren Vale Co-op across the road. And he came down to the Tintara cellars to find me and have a chat. That's the first time I met the man who was to later have such a huge influence on my life. And then there was my relationship, long-term relationship with Trotty and Wirra Wirra, bless them all. Enough reminiscing in the 2 minutes that I've had allotted to me to describe the entire wine show. I'm just going to say 5 things, which I hope mean something to the vignerons of McLaren Vale and the rest of the Fleurieu Peninsula, and to you who are their lucky customers. Firstly, thank you to the excellent judging panel of Mike Farmelo, Nick Stock, Jeremy Stockman, Trina Smith, and our very engaging and capable international judge from Hong Kong, Deborah Myberg. They did a great job. Secondly, the McLaren Vale Wine Show is a great example of a district wine show, which is capable of identifying, forcing improvement, and promoting the region's terroir-driven strengths. There are 2 regions represented in the wine show. The rest of Fleurieu did best with delicate whites and spicy Cabernet Sauvignon, and there is a strong terroir-driven case for keeping McLaren Vale wines out of the Fleurieu Peninsula classes. McLaren Vale did best with Shiraz, no surprise, and blends, and surprising to some, but not me, excelled in Cabernet Sauvignon from the cool vintages of 2002, 2004 and 2006. Go and buy yourself some. McLaren Vale is one of those exceptional places where Shiraz and Cabernet Sauvignon converge in excellence depending on the vintage. Shiraz in hot years and Cabernet in cool years. McLaren Vale can play a leading role in putting Australian Cabernet Sauvignon back on the throne alongside Shiraz where it belongs. Of the 29 gold medals awarded, 13 were for Shiraz and blends, and 8 were for Cabernet. And many of the golds came out of McLaren Vale's Grand Cru terroir up on the Ironstone Ridge behind us. There are few better wines made in this country than the bushing wine, which hasn't been announced, and the exceptional 2002 Ranella Cabernet Sauvignon that won a gold. Interestingly, there are 6 producers of gold medals in this show who don't even appear among the 1,740 producers reviewed in James Halliday's encyclopedic 2008 Wine Companion. Excellence in McLaren Vale, as in other Australian fine wine terroirs, is not merely the province of time-proven vignerons. The final thing to say, the 5th thing, contains negative and positive. Many of the 2005 Shirazes had the dead fruit, raisin and high alcohol characters more appropriate to Rutherglen fortifieds. I know 2005 was a difficult year because of the early April heat waves, but 2 of the pre-release Shiraz gold medals were from the 2005 vintage, and they were exemplary in their McLaren Vale typicity of moderate alcohol, supporting savoury tannins and anise and marzipan, and nuancing lively blackberry fruit. Too many producers perhaps are succumbing to the some is good, more is better mantra with over-the-top ripeness and alcohol, perhaps in response to some remote and influential critics. Others are showing that McLaren Vale can make some of the great wines of Australia and the world, balanced, elegant, and unique to McLaren Vale. Again, go and buy some of the latter when they are released. That's my 2 minutes worth squeezed into 5 minutes.